This video series highlights how the Desmos graphing calculator can be used to help students check for or find answers on the EQAO Grade 9 math test. Note that a familiarity with Desmos graphing calculator is helpful, but these videos might help with that. And for some questions, students will still need to have a basic understanding of the expectations of Grade 9 to be able to use Desmos effectively. However, Desmos is a great tool that I feel I underused in my classroom. We're going to review 4 areas where Desmos can help: graphing, tables, algebra, and number sense. Let's start with the most obvious one, and graphing. So I've created this little mock test that's got a bunch of different practice questions that we're going to go through in this video series on how Desmos can be used effectively. So the first and most obvious one is a question like this, where we have equations and we need to match it up with a graph. Now, to help, first, one of the most important computer features that you'd want your kids to be able to do is to split screen. So I'm going to just do split screen on mine, depending on your device or the Chromebook or whatever your students are using. You want to make sure they have this tool, because having the question and an open tab like this in Desmos or Polypad or anything else is going to be really valuable. So we've got the question right there. I'm going to type in 8x minus 3y equals 24, and already I have an answer that looks very, very similar. Of course, you'll want to dive in a little deeper. You can zoom in to get the graph scales to look the same. You can click on numbers to see that that's 3 and that looks like 3. Move up and down, that's at -8. And so it appears that I'm going to select the first one as the correct answer. But a great multiple choice or strategy for solving multiple choice is to check other ones. So I'm going to still just check the other question, and you can see this one doesn't line up exactly at 3, so I'm going to eliminate that. Notice that you can turn on and off graphs so things don't get confusing. I'm going to leave that first one on because that's the one I think it is. But again, this is great because in minutes, or seconds really, a student can check and see that answers are right, but also ones that are not, so they have full confidence in it. And this one, of course, goes through 3, not goes through -8, so I don't think it's that one. And finally, I can even copy and paste this to make this a little quicker. And -24, again, that's obviously not the one I want, and so I feel really good that the answer I have is correct. All right, let's look at another one. One thing we'll notice too is as a student is going through this, they might have stuff already on the on Desmos, so they can either just quickly X out of that or simply open a new Desmos screen so that they have everything fresh. That's up to them as they're managing this. I'll just clear that out. So in this second question, you'll see that, of course, we would have to have our students know a little bit about writing this as an equation to be able to use Desmos effectively. But I think y equals mx plus b is probably one thing that a lot of our students are good at. So if we can put in y equals -4 over 5x, notice that, of course, if I put the x here, it's in the wrong spot. So teach the students to move their cursor over so the x is outside, and a y-intercept of 6. You'll see that from my previous question, I'm a little bit off kilter, so putting the home button gets us back to find something pretty quick. And again, using these features here to see what that spot is. So that's 6, and it appears this is 6, and going through, well, sorry, this one goes through 7.5. So it looks like A is 7.5. This one, I can eliminate these two because neither of those go through 6. So it's just a matter of which one goes through 7.5. And it looks like A does work. So I'm going to choose that one. For this, I'm going to open up a new screen. So I'll open up a new Desmos screen. And of course, this is a question that when I first was doing it with my students, I would show them the algebraic way to solve this problem, which still is great. Sub in x and y and find out whether the answer is less than or equal to. But using Desmos is a great way to check this work, or even maybe solve it. So there's the region, or the inequality is defined by that. And then we can just start putting in the coordinates. So -1, 2. And right away I can see that -1, 2 is not in that region. 4, 0 I'm going to predict is. 2, 4. And the students might be able to just see it to be able to predict some of these right away. 2, 4 is not. -1, 4, or -4 looks like it is, but again, it's just seconds away to confirm my suspicions that it is these two. And so the black one was this one, so I'm going to say that that one is correct, and these. And so graphing is the most obvious and best way to quickly use Desmos. In future videos, we'll look at tables, algebra, and number sets. Thanks for watching.